That was my life for about, 20 years. London Tube. And I've been working in London for about that time, and I used to get on the tube in the morning and put myself in a chair and report to my boss and pretend to play the game and all of that corporate stuff. And then at the end of the day, coming back, say, from Farringdon Tube Station, that was my journey home. And I did it every single day, Monday to Friday, pretty much, for about 20 years. And I kind of thought it was normal, because when you're in the machine, you don't really know any different. And no one gave me the memo that I had any other way to live my life or have a good life and be happy, make enough money to retire well and just have a family. And as I scaled the corporate ladder, working at in senior level digital media jobs, BBC, AOL, Omnicom Media Group, I ran multi-million-pound media campaigns across the world for the likes of Disney, PlayStation, Olympics, Citroën. I was just getting older, but nothing was really changing, and I found myself more involved in the politics and the infighting than actually making an impact. And this didn't change, and something clicked in my last job. I was a global head of digital for a $3 billion organization, data analytics firm, and I launched one of the biggest achievements of that time, which was their corporate website across 5 continents, multiple languages, big CMS technical build and content strategy and all of that stuff. And they gave me this amazing reward. You're fired. Okay, and they gave my job to a guy in California. Actually, it's no one's fault. It's okay. You're just a number on a spreadsheet. A private equity firm comes in and looks at the numbers and goes, "Well, what are we going to cut? Let's just cut that. Let's put that there." You're not really a human for the most part. So that was kind of my experience of the corporate world. And the thing is that I didn't know of an alternative. No one gave me the memo, but I just felt there was something not quite right about where I was in life. Because the hard work and the passion and the effort going into creating stuff, it just didn't materialize in happiness. Certainly didn't materialize, it didn't produce money in the bank. So the more money I earned in the corporate job, you just spend more, right? Get a mortgage, get a car, you just have more expenses. So nothing really changed. And I felt it's weird. It's kind of like when you're waking up and you're like, I don't know what's right. I don't know what's going on. Something isn't right. Because I'm the guy that gets shit done, that everybody wants on their team, yet I'm struggling to find my place, right? And I don't know if anyone can relate to this story, but it was then and there that I decided, I was getting a little bit older in life. I won't say how old, it's a secret. I was told yesterday I look a lot younger than it might seem. And I thought, okay, I'm going to burn the bridges and put every last penny I have into finding a way out of this. This I didn't have a name for what that was, but it was like a place where I didn't want to be, and I knew I was capable of more, and it was just untapped potential, right? And I knew I had to start my own business. And I didn't know who, I didn't know what. I didn't know how. I knew it might have something to do with marketing, because I've been in digital media and digital strategy for pretty much all of my life, so it made sense not to go into like agriculture. I don't know the first thing about gardens. So luckily my wife is like one of the most supportive people I know. She's like, look, do it, you know, okay, let's do it. And I burnt the bridges. That was the change. I didn't have a plan B. There was no plan B. And that mindset shift just said, I'm going to figure it out if I kill myself doing it, because I didn't want to. Or so, when you hit 40 years old, there's kind of like a biological change that happens. It's like, hold on, all that time you have fucking up in your 20s and your 30s, in trying this and trying that, hold on, time is more important, relationships are more important, what I do, how I spend my time just gets a lot more important, and I knew I was capable of more. But I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't have communities like this, and I didn't have other people to show me what they were doing. I didn't come from an entrepreneurial family. And so I was just taught to, my family were immigrants, and they came from a time of a very unsafe life. And so comfort for them was first and foremost a priority. Safety and security, right? And fortunately, the generation after that, you know, we have such a luxury because we have food on the table, we have shelter for the most part. Most of us are not going to be out on the street anytime soon, even if your businesses were to go to zero tomorrow, right? So I was not taught to be self-reliant, and so I had to figure it out, right? Sales, economics, business. I put myself on a business philosophy course for 2 years in San Francisco. I was like the only Brit flying over 4 times a year with a bunch of Americans and Mexicans doing this really out there stuff. And I kind of learned to see the world in a completely different way. Like the world, I had come from a fixed perspective and a fixed view of the world because that's the only thing I knew. And all of a sudden it just went pfft, right? And one course and program led to the other. And I discovered coaching programs. And one of my first mentors was a guy called John Logar as well. He's been in the high-level community for a while now. He's a veteran consultant. And he kind of helped me figure some stuff out when I didn't have a clue. And he said, yeah, listen, you know, how do you deliver the transformation? Well, you know, there's this little known software. You just use HighLevel. What's HighLevel? Yeah, I just use that to like do the marketing thing. I don't know. So I remember back in the day, it was around 2018 or 2017 probably. I was recommended to check out HighLevel, and I did. The website has come along a long way, but at the time I was like, what does it do? How does it work? And what I soon discovered is that using HighLevel, it helped me solve all these tasks that were really, really hard to do normally. And back in the day, before HighLevel, you had to duct tape together different systems and use Zapier and think. And the big key was actually being able to design a system and then use it again and again and again for your clients. And that was like, wow, hold on a second. And it kind of made me think about why HighLevel sort of changed the landscape of the industry and actually lowered the bar to entry to the marketing world because it made hard tasks easy. And so when you make hard tasks easy, then well, it's easier to make more dramatic and powerful transformations, and more people can have access to this power, so to speak. And so it then got me thinking about the world we live in today, where again we're going through this kind of revolution, this AI revolution, which is changing things. I came across this quote recently. I don't know if anyone saw this in the news or in the media, a quote from the Fiverr CEO about how hard tasks will be the new easy, impossible tasks will be the new hard. His staff were questioning their jobs and their role in the world. It's like, do you even need us anymore? And I think a lot of us are kind of thinking that. Are we actually going to be needed? Our expertise, the stuff that has built who we are and taken us decades to learn, now is accessible for the price of a sandwich to pretty much everybody with AI and what you can do. Hard tasks will be the new easy. So every time that there's a transformation or like a radical disruption or a change in the industry, it is because those hard tasks become easy. So now our job as experts, consultants, agencies is now an opportunity. And the opportunity is to solve impossible tasks. And that's exciting as well. But it's a mindset shift because, you know, HighLevel is not a new platform anymore. It used to be. And when I was using HighLevel and found it, it was a bit of a secret weapon for my agency here in the UK. And that's how we came to market, because no one knew HighLevel existed. And we had this thing where we were making magic happen for business. And like, how do you do that? Oh yeah, it's lead hero. Lead hero, or lead hero, right? Now we can't do that anymore because everybody knows about HighLevel. Sorry, it's a famous brand. It's getting more famous. So the challenge in SaaS is a different one, right? It's a different one. It's one of differentiation, and it's one of strategy, creativity, unique transformation. And I'll get to that later. And offering solutions, not features. Because certainly there was a time where you could just put in missed call text back into a business, and well, that was the transformation. And so you could just find as many businesses as possible and stick in missed call text back, and that's a transformation. But I work in the UK market. Despite my accent, my business is here. I've been here 20 years, more than that. I'm a Brit, naturalized Brit, and a lot of the businesses I speak to already have HighLevel installed, right? So how do I get customers if you've already got HighLevel, or you're being sold HighLevel by consultants and coaches and other agencies? Like, what's the difference between you and me, right? That's the challenge. So just want to calibrate a little bit in the room where people might feel they are on a bit of a spectrum, right? So if you think about the business journey, we all need positioning. We all need operational leverage to get ourselves out of the work and scale. We need that constant client acquisition, sales certainty, knowing where your customers are coming from. And I think it's true to say that we all kind of start at the bottom. Well, this is where I was when I started my agency. And I started an agency like when I knew how to use HighLevel. I said, this is going to be the tool that I use to manage all my clients and deliver a transformation. I wasn't offering anything, SEO, other marketing services. It's just like, let's double down on this. And it's very typical to sell GHL and not outcomes. And people are still doing it today. The features. You're doing everything yourself, and you're chasing clients, and it's a pretty exhausting place to be. I've been there. You're banging your head against the wall, and there is this line that when you cross that line, there's a fear, there's self-doubt. Can I do this? Am I capable? imposter syndrome, all of that stuff. Anyone here ever have imposter syndrome? Raise your hand if you've ever had that. Let's see who hasn't. Never, no, liar, the whole table's lying. Okay. I have imposter syndrome. I think I have it right now because I'm not smarter than anybody here. There's a lot of very smart people, and maybe your business is further along. Maybe I'm further along than others. But we all get it, and I've seen multi-7, 8-figure business owners with imposter syndromes. It's incredible, and it's we've all got it. And there's distraction on social media, and there's the myths that HighLevel solves problems, right? And SaaS is easy money. And I've come across a lot of coaches and consultants that just jump on this opportunity. Let's just put in another revenue stream because it's easy. Right? It's not. Get the memo. I'd like to see you try. Right? And then you discover support, retention, customer fulfillment, all of that stuff. And when you get over that, you realize that actually it's the focus. It's the expertise that you bring. It's how you put the recipe together. And you get into this amber zone where you got an offer, but it's still weak on positioning. Your onboarding and your systems are still manual and messy. And your sales are random, but actually you're there, you're in the game, you're playing the game. But the focus will take you to another level, and that's the light green zone, where you're competing on price, right? We get that all the time. It's like, okay, can you just... This guy's offering HighLevel for free. Okay, go and get your free HighLevel. You're the founder, you're the bottleneck to growth, but your pipeline is growing and you're now starting to compete. Those are typically your challenges. Your business is gaining momentum, but there's another line, and that is the good enough line. And so many businesses just kind of fall into this trap where they get to a certain point and they think that they can just stay good enough, and the momentum and the energy that they've been putting into their business to get to the competing zone diminishes. And the myth is that okay is good enough, but in this most radical marketplace, it's changing all the time. We need to be changing our offers every 15 minutes, right? That's how fast the marketplace is changing. And the truth is, complacency traps you. As soon as you take your foot off the gas is when you can actually, your business can be at risk. You can fall behind. And when you get over that and you keep those offers coming through and changing, and HighLevel is such a great example of that, because like, how often does HighLevel feature, how often do they invent new offers and transformations? The perfect is, if you look at the top businesses of the world, they're enhancing their product all the time, really, really fast, They're hard to beat, right? And that's where this is a nice place to be, where clients chase you, you're removed from delivery, and your sales are automatic, right? You're winning there. So I'm not going to do the standard exercise of raise your hand where you feel you fit. Have a think. That's a calibration for what's going to come kind of next. But know that you're not alone. And I know, because I've talked to many of you, and I've had conversations yesterday and today, I know there are all kind of people in all of these zones. I won't call you out. So who am I? I'm Francis Rodino. I'm the founder of Lead Hero AI. It's a boutique sales automation agency here based in the UK. We're kind of really famous for our AI and automated driven sales systems. We've helped our clients increase sales by over 120 million in the past couple of years alone, and save around 2,000 hours of repetitive, boring admin time with HighLevel. I'm a Gold Award winner and the author of a book called Leads Machine, which I launched in March. And this book, I put it together because after 7 years of doing the same thing with businesses across the world, we realized that the ones that were actually really successful are kind of doing the same thing again and again. With HighLevel at the core, of course, we don't use any other system. I'm really proud to say that, I have the support of HighLevel, and Sean wrote us a great testimonial, and Daniel Priestley wrote the foreword to my book. And so that was a great kudos for me, and it encapsulates the journey I've been through. And so when I was asked to present today, the HighLevel team reached out to me with some questions. So this is not a free-for-all, but they said, we want you to share what you've been through. How did you pick your niche? How did you get your first clients? How did you scale, and all of that stuff? So I'm going to give you guys a disclaimer. This is not the way. Ryan might tell you the way and do that, okay? And other speakers might say, this is the way. This is a way. And this is what I discovered myself from doing my shit. And it was very sloppy as well. But I kind of I took the best of what was working and put it into a methodology that has now become the kind of proprietary method of our business. So you can take pieces of it. If things don't resonate with you, that's okay. Maybe it will help a few of you develop your own proprietary systems. Okay, how did you pick a niche? It's interesting. I really struggled with this. Did anybody here struggle to pick a niche? How did you pick a niche? Well, in all honesty, when I had no clients, I basically reached out to anyone and everyone to tell them what I was doing. And the last plumbing business that fixed my toilet, I still had their number in my phone. So after everyone said no to me, and I got rejected pretty much hundreds of times, and I can't count, and no one wanted to work with me, of anyone I knew, I phoned the plumbing business here in London. They're still a client, by the way. That's cool. We retained them. And I said, do you want me to help you get more customers and automate your lead generation? He's like, duh, yes. So that was our first client. We ran ads. We helped him. We got him onto HighLevel. We onboarded them and their team. And that was it. So I didn't necessarily pick a niche. I don't know anything. Well, I do now, 7 years later. I know about trades because we've worked with a lot of trades, home service businesses like that in the UK. But at the time, I didn't. And I think that leads me to the next bit. How did I get my first 10 clients? It's like I decided then and there that I wasn't going to niche jump and be a Me Too agency. I wanted to stay focused and solve a problem for a specific group of people. Why? That's because Paulson told me to do that, basically. And I remember when I started with HighLevel, the HighLevel team, Paulson and Chase, like they were still, at that time, jumping on calls with customers like me. Like Paulson really went out of his way to help me figure out this lead generation thing. And so that's why, like, I have a real sweet spot for the HighLevel team as well, because they were very giving to me when I was starting out. So we made a kind of name for ourselves working with trades in the UK, and it was a grind. It was relentless, cold email. I called everyone I knew. I got testimonials. The testimonials was a really big thing. If you go onto our website right now, you'll see video testimonials and lots of them. They were like gold. You know, if you can get the business owner to talk about you and praise you and stick it there, that's worth money. So we got a lot of testimonials. We forged partnerships, so we teamed up with other service providers who were working in a similar niche, like accountants and coaches. And we did joint ventures, we did content, webinars, stuff like that, so co-promoted each other. We ran events. That was kind of a big thing to get started. This is the switched on here. Yeah, cool. We ran events. I'll show you a couple of examples, like the Ultimate Online Training for Trade. So this was a big event we ran a few years ago here in the UK. We did it for charity. We raised something like £30,000 for Help for Heroes, which is veterans in the UK. It was a 100% non-profit, and it was a shit ton of work to do. We basically took about 4 months organizing it, and lo and behold, we just got, because it was it had a charitable element to it, we got some really big names to come in, like Jay Abraham, Rob Moore, who's an influencer here, Marcus Sheridan is an author. Michael, anyone read the E-Myth Revisited? Yeah, Michael E. Gerber as well came in. And people, yes, obviously they like the promotion, but when you take profit away from your initiative and you actually start giving, something really weird and magical starts to happen. People that normally don't give a shit about you start to give a shit. And they're like, okay, I'll do this. Let's do this. And that actually, it was a great way to get started. It put us on the map. And I'm not a tradie. I don't know the first thing about running a plumbing and heating businesses. And people were wondering, where did we come from? Lead Hero. All of a sudden, we were just like this brand doing things. We launched products for prospects. And we still have a couple running at the moment in different niches. So what we did was we created these marketing packs where, this was born from a problem because at some point, we were getting approached by a lot of smaller businesses that don't have necessarily the budget for a remarkable transformation. And so I was getting sick of saying no to all of these businesses. I can't help you. I don't know how to help you. I'm not a business coach for you. You can't afford what we do. I wanted to develop a product, and then this was born. So we actually developed a marketing pack with Canva templates, email sequences written out, creatives, video templates. We did Facebook training, Google Ads training, and we sold it as a lead generation tool for £75. And it's still running now. It's just generating leads. So that's an idea for you guys in your niche. Take your niche, do something small and valuable, sell it for whatever covers your Facebook ads costs, and it gives you a great opportunity to call them up as soon as they buy and say, hey, did you get access to the platform? Fantastic. Do you want help implementing any of this? Most people don't even log in. Some do and check it out, but it's that's not what it's about. So how did we scale? So we don't have 1,061 sub-accounts like Danny Clark, but we do have over 100. And as a small business, I always find scaling an interesting word, but what does scaling mean? I mean, at one of the last SaasPreneur events, I was speaking to a business owner, 7-figure business owner, who scaled, who had not enough profit, had mental health issues, a huge team and headache, and was a near breaking point, scaling his business. So at my ripe old age, I don't want that. I have a small team, about 5 people. We have systems, we use freelancers. We have a couple of a project manager, an AI tech admin, just the key people. And I like to focus myself on kind of creative projects, higher ticket creative projects. And we do have SaaS. I'm going to share my pricing model for you as well. I'm going to give you everything today. And I'm actually really happy to do this. It's cathartic for me because for the past few years, people have asked me in groups and on WhatsApp and stuff like that, like, can you share your pricing? Can you share what you do? And they'll say, I don't know, you're all my competition. But I've grown up. I've grown up. I've been through the pain and I've come out the other end and I've realized this is not competition. Everybody's unique. And I'm going to talk about that later, because your uniqueness is what's going to help your business grow, not the tool. After working with hundreds of businesses, helping them with their lead generation and automation, it's kind of like looking at the tip of an iceberg. You're out there, you're on a boat in the Icelandic waters, and there you see the iceberg popping out of the water. And what do people want all the time? I need leads. Get me leads, please. Get me leads. I need leads. How much are the leads? How much does it cost for leads? And it's like they just don't get it. Because leads is like 10% of what we do in the issue. And if you really want leads, put your credit card down on Facebook or it's like it's easy to get leads. But how do you move your business forward? Underneath the surface, that's where some magic happens. And essentially we put in place 3 things. One is control. Greater control of systems, data analytics, control over their decision making, and helping them gain clarity as to what to do next. Predictable sales, sales certainty, knowing where your next client is coming from. Without that, you're kind of just hoping. Very difficult to plan for the future. And standout visibility. Standing out as the first choice in your market. And it's really underneath, on the bottom of the iceberg, where we can help really focus moving that business towards the future, which is that thriving business future. And we do that with a system, proprietary system, that I call the RED method, which is like the foundation of the book that I put in place. The RED method. I'm going to take you through it here. It's essentially made up of some key components. And the first one is putting the customer first at the middle of the center of the model and describing what that future is for them. Thriving, future-proof business where they're still in business in 10 years and happy, that's a nice place to be. I hope that's the same for me and everybody in this room. Greater control, predictable sales, and standout visibility come with the package. And there's essentially 3 levers that we need to pull. Number 1 is the roadmap. So the most common question that I get from prospects is, what do I do? What do I do? And people say that here in the UK, the budgets are not the same as in the US, and the market is different, and it's a little bit more scarce, and there's smaller businesses here. But I also get the feedback that people would say, if I knew what to do and I had confidence, I would spend my money. And the reason people don't spend is because they just don't have confidence. They're not really sure what's happening, what they're going to get. So helping them go from confusion to clarity. Roadmap. The next one is the engine. So what is happening underneath the bonnet to help them go from antiquated to fully automated, seamless, and fast? That's your system, your CRM. In our case, it's what we do with HighLevel. And notice my language there. I didn't say it's HighLevel, it's what we do with HighLevel. And drive. Putting your foot on the pedal and helping that brand reach more people and go from invisible to irresistible. And within each lever, there's basically 3 accelerators that we need to basically to activate. A disclaimer is I read all of these amazing books. Ryan talked about one, which is just fantastic, Eugene Schwartz's Breakthrough Marketing. So I've read them all, well, maybe not all, but a lot. And the truth is, for me, I didn't need everything that was in that book. I needed there were certain bits and nuggets of gold that I thought, that's friggin' what we need and going to use. And so I kind of did the greatest hits of everything I read and used that in our system. And so the first one is like market intimacy. It's having a deep understanding of who your market is, their desires and ambition, aspirations, their dreams, their hopes, their fears, their frustrations, their demographics, of course, but pulling all of that out through the systems that we put in place. We have toolkits and a process to really help drive that understanding. And also appreciate where they are in the buying journey. Ryan talked about the stages of awareness, and that's super important to understand, like, are you selling something where people are problem aware or problem unaware? It's completely different, your approach to how you're going to get your system to work. The second accelerator is the message. It's your core message, and there are a few things. It's how you present your value proposition. It's your unique one-liner. It's your unique mechanism. Anybody here have a unique mechanism in their business? Or you know what your unique mechanism is? Yeah. What's your unique mechanism, Gary? Lemonade framework, perfect example. Gary does marketing. He's a competitor. But he's not. He's not, because he's got the lemonade system, which is completely different. And so once you give a name and a label to what you do, no one can compete with you, because that's not it. It's something else. They have the choice, right? And it's important to kind of brand it and label it and give your transformation a name so other people can understand it. So I didn't invent this stuff, but this is the stuff that I found really, really powerful. And in my book, you don't have to read 50 marketing books. You can read my book, because you can take my best bits, for example. And then map, your customer journey map. Distributing those messages in the right formats, in the right time, to the right people, on the right platform, at the right stage of awareness. From not knowing who you are, to knowing who you are, to considering what you do, to the intent, and then buying, and then so forth, and retention, onboarding, and so on. And mapping that all out. That's a toolkit for that. So every single accelerator has a toolkit that we put in place, and this becomes a whole product on its own that we sell. And you can take that on its own, or you can take the whole thing. But if you don't do the deep work, you won't be able to build very high, right? You need solid foundations to build that skyscraper. And the next part is really your engine. It's your system, and it's how you're going to capture those leads. So the lead magnets, the scorecards, the reports, the surveys, quizzes, the webinars that you do. What is the right format? How do you choose it? How do you present it to the world? And then once you get the lead, what happens next in the system? So you need to plug in everything you've kind of specced out in your roadmap into your system so that it works. And the third is then turning those relationships into buyers. Finally, driving that baby forward, reaching more people through paid ads and organic. In the book, I really cover paid ads on Google and Facebook as a mechanism, because one of the things that I see my market doing is just jumping into ads with no strategy. Like 75% of ads don't work. It's a waste of money. We get that. How many people here have an objection, common objection, where it's like, we've tried marketing before and we wasted our money, and so they're afraid of that. Anybody? Yeah. Just want to know if make me feel like I'm not alone, please. It's just me, right? Resell. There's really only 4 ways to grow a business. It's getting more leads, increasing your pricing, increasing the purchase frequency, the amount of time people buy from you, and then refining the system. So that's optimizing. So knowing how to look at the data and identify where your funnel or your system is leaking money. And what are the benchmarks? So the cost per lead, cost per acquisition. Okay, I'm getting this amount of clicks, but not the conversion. So breaking it down and looking at the data. And the whole thing is a self-fulfilling cycle, right? And so that's essentially the system that works for me, that I am really passionate about and I've been able to kind of put together. Now, it's not new, because essentially I just wanted to use timeless marketing strategies and psychology to put this together. But how you guys put together your system is going to be completely unique and new, right? Because getting these two, everyone has that unique experience. And at the heart of everything we do, obviously, it's the customer-centric experience. We have one mission, and that is actually helping businesses create a thriving business future. The whole point of this is to help you build relationships with 67% of the market that isn't ready to buy. You'll be building a list that can be nurtured into many, many tens, hundreds, millions of pounds worth of future sales as well. We're all fighting for that 3% of the market in the red ocean, right? And when you have systems built on the red method, you actually have that opportunity to create relationships. So the red method is one way, and it's actually the way that I found works for us. We use paid ads as well to put our offers in front of our market. We have systematized our delivery and our onboarding in a way that is semi-automated. And unlike other agencies, we really focused always on conversion support. We don't do paid ads. We don't do SEO, that kind of stuff. We work with other partners here to fulfill that. And we can focus really on AI right now, AI chatbots, voice AI, love it. And it's not, these things are never set and forget. It can be a full-time job just to keep a complex system optimized and working properly. Okay, what's our pricing? This is our pricing. It was hard to put it together, but all of these slides I think are going to be available in the HighLevel portal. But typically it's $299 a month, or $497 a month, or $2,000 a month. Now, I love working with businesses well above a few £1 million revenue, and we work with 25 million pound businesses, and we have offered the same thing to them as the smaller businesses. And believe me, it's a much happier place for me to be serving the businesses with a higher revenue, because you have to do less to make a bigger impact. When the business has advertising budget and a marketing team and a sales team, all you need to do is tweak the dial a little bit more to get an exponential result. And that feels really good. So that's just an example. It's not the example. It's just what we do. One thing I want to point out is that it didn't happen overnight. It wasn't easy. It wasn't simple. It wasn't straightforward like a lot of gurus might tell you. Just do that and scale, and the coaches, you're nodding your head. You've been there. Oh, bless you. I share your pain. But, you just figure it out, right? And so it didn't happen overnight. And in terms of secret sauce, I guess I would say that real clarity on your ideal client is key. We work with 3 to 10 million pound businesses with sales teams who have advertising budgets. We build serious systems. We charge setup fees. We've been through the whole SaaS thing where we just kind of do the bare minimum, but typically don't do it anymore because we find that we're able to provide better services and better transformations when you charge a setup fee without resenting your client. World-class onboarding, we've got that dialed in, the whole system and how we can make sure that they feel heard at the beginning. We offer daily tech support for our clients, so we just have drop-in sessions. They can just drop in anytime. And we become an extension of their team. So what we say to them, especially if they're already working with other marketing agencies, is like, that's great. We're happy. You have guys running ads for you. That's awesome. We're just going to put fuel to the fire and get you better results. And we're happy to work with your marketing agency, no problem. That's awesome. And that's a little bit of a learning curve for businesses to kind of understand that they can have like a AI sales team or so, an extension of what they do. Because this is all new, what we're doing here, right? So what have I learned? Let's see. Okay. One of the most important things that I've learned, I would say, is in our onboarding of a new client, where when we were just figuring things out, we were told what to sell by coaches and the market and Chase, and and then we would do it, and yes, we had mixed results. But now we kind of learned one thing, is we ask the client, what's the one thing that we can do for you as quickly as possible and just get you a result to make all of this worthwhile and your investment worthwhile? And they tell us, and usually there's something going on that they didn't tell you about their marketing not working, or their website, or something is missing that you didn't know about, that they're going to say, if you just fix this, you do it, and you do it. So that's what I would say, is find that one thing really, really early on and fix it. Because if you're selling all of these features, and it's like, oh, we're going to put in place a review system, and an AI bot, and there's going to be conversations, and then your sales team can log in, and you're going to get messages on your phone, and they're going to get pinged, and all of that. Because that's the thing, like HighLevel can do anything you can imagine. Wrapping up. Complexity creates churn. People don't buy products, they buy transformation. I'm wrapping up now. I want to just leave you with this. I want to leave you with the last point, is that I would urge everyone to find that remarkable transformation that you have inside of every single business, and that's what you're selling first and foremost, is the caterpillar becoming a butterfly. And in this picture represents 2 plates of spaghetti, same kitchen, same pasta, same ingredients. One tastes amazing and looks amazing, and one you don't want to deal with. And that's kind of like the world we live in now in terms of differentiation and working with HighLevel. You can create anything but it won't necessarily be a transformation. So guys, I want to thank you very much for your ears today. When you go into the HighLevel portal after this, I'd like to give you all a free copy of my book, where it will be, I thank you so much. I actually created a GPT. I put my book into ChatGPT and created a GPT. So you don't even have to read the book, but you can use that to create your sales funnel copy and ask it questions. Try it out. It's pretty cool. So that'll be up for you there. If you want to contact me or connect with me, this is a link. I'm going to wear a little QR code over here so you can scan it in a bit. And I do have a few copies of my hard copies here. If you want a copy, I think I have like 5 or 6 left. But thank you guys for listening, and I hope some of you got some value from today's talk, and know that you're not alone. You're not alone is the thing that I want you to take, and we're all in this together. Thank you guys very much.